What is going on, everyone? Chris with Journals, Comics, and Pop Culture. Thank you guys for tuning in and welcome back to the channel. And I know many of you watching are probably really excited about today's video, but here we are today talking about the 5 key comics that I would buy right now in this bear market. If you are subscribed to the channel, please take some time to do so. Check out the links in the description below. Now, for those that are new to these types of videos, we're going to look at 5 books, okay? We're going to crunch numbers, but we're going to do it differently today. Because they're books that we're buying right now, we're going to look at what they did a year ago, which would put it right around, the peak of the COVID market. But then we're going to look 2 years back, and we're going to be looking at ROI, return on investment, based on both of those time periods. And then I'm going to tell you why I would still purchase these books right now. Now, I do want to state that I am never here to tell you guys what to buy. This is merely my opinion. I bring in facts and data, and it's up to you all to take in what I say, take note, and to always collect what you love and what's important for you in your purchasing decisions. All right. Now, before we get into the 5 books today, I just want to take about 45 seconds to talk about today's sponsor, PopCultureZone.com, and their pressing services. Today's video was sponsored by Pop Culture Zone Pressing Services. If you need your comic books pressed, I personally vouch for Pop Culture Zone as being one of the best professional companies in the game, offering hands down the lowest prices out there. Services start at only $9.99, and every order placed will receive free fast track turnaround times. Even though I press comics for my personal collection, whenever I need a professional press for my key comics, I send them off to Pop Culture Zone, and every single book that I've received back, every single one, has had results that have exceeded my expectations, and I am sure that they will exceed your expectations as well. Make sure you go check the link in the description below to head over to their website, popculturezone.com, for complete details on services and how to begin your order. All right, again, for anybody needing to get some comic books pressed up, popculturezone.com is the spot. Links below, folks. But let's just get right into this. No real order on these books, so we're just going to go into the first book here today. And this is Fantastic Four, number 19. This is the first appearance of Ramat. And for those that don't know, spoiler, this is a variant of Kang. Now, before we get into the numbers, I'm going to talk a little bit about what this book's been doing. Obviously, with the Loki show dropping last year, knowing that Jonathan Majors was going to play Kang, and then knowing what we got at the end of the Loki show with the Immortus character, we speculated, or collectors speculated, that maybe Ramat is going to show up. I think that's still a possibility for sure. So let's look at these numbers. First appearance of Ramat. Current CGC 5.0. Now, what I did for the graded values in all of these books was I took the grade that had the most sales, all right? So a fair market value currently, and again, fair market value is a rough estimate rolling average of recent sales, sitting at $542. Now, just about a year ago, and I took the 2021 numbers, I took anywhere between March and August of last year, which was basically the peak of the COVID boom, so to say, right? So your average fair market value was sitting at about $876. Now, that 1-year ROI is indeed a 38% drop. So you may look at that and say, that's a huge drop. Oh my goodness. But if you look at the fair market value from 2 years ago in 2020, it was sitting at $314. So from right now, sitting at that 542 mark, it is still up 73% from 2 years ago. So, folks, perspective matters. So what is that? It could tell you a little bit about what was going on in the COVID boom. It could tell you a little bit that people were speculating on this book hard because of the Loki show. But I'm going to tell you why I would still buy this book after we finish getting through these numbers. Record high was 1,025. That was in July of 2021. The last sale was in October of this year for $500. All right, we got current average raw. Now, the way I do the average raw, remember, it doesn't pertain to any grade. So I always say average raw tends to probably be some type of value for a mid-grade of these comic books, especially Silver Age. Sitting at $217 next to 2 years ago, sitting at $99. That is a 2 year ROI, still more than doubled, 119%. So this book is still very, very healthy from where it was at 2 years ago. This is why I would personally buy this book. I don't have this book. Um, it's Silver Age Fantastic Four, number one. Silver Age Fantastic Four, any of the Silver Age legacy books from Marvel primarily too, are books that I would always be in the market for, no matter what's going on in the macro market, right? But if you look at this book from a speculative or even long-term investment, I believe it's a good time to buy because it is down, because we don't really have the hype right now that we did a year ago coming off the Loki show, thinking that, oh, Jonathan Majors is playing King and Ant-Man in the Wasp, Quantumania. Jonathan Majors showed up as a variant of Immortus in the Loki show. So why can't he show up as Ramat? So right now, I think there's a little bit of kind of uh, optics being taken off of that type of speculation right now. And I think that's bringing this book down some. People have moved on to other things. And of course, just the general state of the market. A lot of key books that boomed last year are trending lower. So I look at this book right now. If I was to buy a 5.0 for around the $500 mark, I think it's solid because of two reasons. One, it can get hot again because of seeing this character played by Jonathan Majors somewhere along the lines of the MCU, and just simply put, because of future value. This book, no matter what short term ebb and flow does, no matter what happens with speculation, this book is going to continue to increase in value. 5 years from now, no matter what happens in the MCU, I absolutely think this book in a 5.0 is going to be selling higher than around that $540 mark. So that's why I would be in the market. For me, again, my personal buying on a budget, I would definitely look for this book raw and in much lower grade, because I'm the type that likes low grade rather than not having the comic, and I like to not put all my eggs in one basket. So I wouldn't mind finding like a 2.0 with this book, maybe for, who knows, $140. I mean, I don't know. I haven't looked at the raw books that closely, but that's kind of where my head would lean when looking to purchase this book. All right, folks, we're going to move on to the next book. This is Ultimate Fallout 4. Yes, that's right. First appearance of Miles Morales. Let's look at these numbers, folks. Current CGC 9.8 fair market value is sitting right under that 2,000 mark at 1,934. 1 year ago, man, remember when this book hit over the $3,000 mark? But 1 year ago, $2,895 was that estimated fair market value. But 2 years ago, it was only sitting at $560. And that was right after, like, I think we had the announcement of, we just had like Spider-Verse, I think, Into the Spider-Verse, and then we had the announcement of the video game. So Miles Mania was hot going into the summer of 2020. But the 1 year ROI is down 33%. But again, look at that 2 year ROI, folks. From right now, sitting under 2,000, it's still up 245% from 2 years ago. We had a record high of $3,584 in April of 2021. The last sale hit just over $2,000 this month, November. Current average raw sitting at about 545, and because this is a modern book, you're probably going to get higher grades, leaning towards around that average, but of course not near mint. 2 years ago, 152. That's a 259% increase. And that is very, very around the same range as the 245 increase, looking at the 9.8 for that 2 year mark. So why would I buy this book right now? I don't have this book. I was actually gifted the Pacelli variant earlier this year, and truly humbled by that. So I'm happy to have a Miles Morales first appearance. I do not have this book, first appearance. I would buy this book right now because I've always been a believer of Miles Morales. I think that you have to take in consideration the COVID boom affecting this book. and everything that was going on with Miles during COVID over the last couple of years. But guess what, folks? I don't believe that hype is stopping. I think this book is gonna continue to hold a solid value leading up into the Spider Verse. We see all the hype for all these other characters that are going to show up, which my advice to you guys, don't get caught up on the spider punks and all, like every single type of spider creature character that we're going to see. They're not going to be books that last. This is one. Again, short-term ebb and flow, maybe a little bit more volatility, being that it's a modern book. We're going to probably see the 9.8s continue to increase over the next 5 years on the census. I think it's hitting at about close to 4,000 now. So, don't get too caught up on census numbers for 9.8s. But this book is down. Now, I'm not saying that this book can't drop more. I mean, when you look at the state of the economy right now, everything's uncertain. And how we're spending money on comics is still in uncertainty. But it is crazy, though, that we still continue to see record-breaking sales for certain books out there, and we continue to see crazy FOMO for books that weren't even looked at, a month ago, that are getting hot anytime we get a trailer or an option, et cetera, et cetera. So, if I was in the market for this book, and I could spend under $500 on a high-grade raw, and I had the money, I would think that's a solid buy. I think, again, short term, more volatility for sure over the next couple of years. But remember, folks, we know that the MCU is going with the younger characters. We know the relationship between Sony and Marvel Studios with the Spider-Man characters. We know that Sony's actually doing amazing things with this character in their animated, Spider-Verse. But it's inevitable that we're going to see a live-action Miles Morales. I believe that Tom Holland is going to do his next 3 trilogy, and that's going to lead into a Miles Morales, and he's going to pass the torch off probably over the next 5 to 6 years. Once that happened, you think Miles Mania went crazy over the last couple of years? It's going to go absolutely nuts. So again, I'm not here to tell you guys what to buy. If you're not willing to take the risk to make those investment risks, or you don't have love for the comics, it's not for you. I'm here to give you my opinion and perspective, but for me right now, I'm not really like looking to buy this book, but I'll tell you guys, I would love to have it. And if something fell on my lap, I mean, shoot, I would even take like I don't want to say a beat up copy. I'd take a fine copy of this book, maybe for like $150 or something. Like, who knows? And I might dish out the money just to have the book. But guys, that's the type of collector I am, right? All right, everyone, we're going to move on. Next up, we got some DC love. This is Wonder Woman number 204. This is the first appearance of Nubia. I have actually been actively seeking this book for the last few years. It was on my 2020 want list, I believe, or 2021. Never picked it up, and I kind of regret it, but let's look at these numbers. Current CGC, 8.5 fair market value, sitting at 515. Last year, 570, so that's a 10% drop. So it's staying decent, not too big of a drop here. 2 years ago, 312, that's still up $65 from where it's at right now from 2 years ago. We had a record high for 630 in November of last year, so just about a year ago. The last sale, though, was for 504, but that was back in May, so we haven't had an 8.5 sale for a good few months here. Current average raw, 124. 2020, it was sitting at 108. That's a 15-year, 2-year return on investment. So why would I buy this book right now still? Well, again, the market trending a little down. I like Silver Age and early Bronze Age DC keys, again, because there's no crazy spec FOMO driving them for the most part. That shows you that these books can either stay solid even in a quote-unquote bear market. I mean, look, this book hasn't really dropped over the last year, and it's holding its weight. Now, if something happens with this character, I know they brought new stories in the comic books. Who knows? We got this new 10-year plan coming out for the DCU. Who knows if we'll see a Nubia in the DCU, and of course, that could absolutely trigger speculation, live action speculation. But I'm not in it for that. I'm in it specifically for the fact that 5 to 10 years from now, being a early Bronze Age book that this is, key book that this is, I think it's going to increase in value, and it's just something that I, as a Wonder Woman fan, would love to have before these Bronze Age keys continue to get older and older, and these books continue to go up simply to the fact of, like I said, aging out, inflation, and the collectability there, the scarcity there of these books being on the market. So again, no decision here is based on any speculation or this character showing up in a live action property whatsoever. Again, huge Wonder Woman fan. I have her second appearance. I need to have this one in my collection at some point. All right, but we're moving on to the next book on the list. And of course, we got some Spider-Man here. This is Amazing Spider-Man number 16. It's the first Daredevil in a Spider-Man title. And I actually picked up this book this year. It's a 1.0. It's, a loved copy, but it's mine. A big shout out to A1 Comics for making that happen. So let's go over these numbers. Current CGC 7.5 fair market value sitting at $1,524. 1 year ago, it was sitting at $978. 2 years ago, it was sitting at $650. So this book, it ain't being penetrated by this market whatsoever. It's not being phased. It's like, I'm gonna keep doing what I do. So that 1 year ROI, it's still up 56% from where it was in 2021 at the peak of the COVID boom. 2 year ROI, 134%. Now, the record high, though, was in August of this year, guys, for 2880, and that was a huge outlier. I don't think there was any other book that crossed over that 2,000 marker. Maybe there was one other, and it was right at the 2,000. Not too sure, but that was an outlier. This book, it was never worth 2880. Who knows? Maybe it had white pages, and somebody just wanted to, bid it up higher because of those white pages. Those things aren't considered on the sales data. Somebody might demand that over off-white to white, et cetera, et cetera. Now, the last sale was for $17.50. That was in September of this year. Oh, yeah, see, it says right there. Look at that, right there on the screen. Highest sale next to the outlier. So there you go. That goes to show you how crazy that outlier was. Yep. Current average raw, $402. Next to 2 years ago, sitting at $184. That's a 2 year ROI of 118% increase. So this book is still booming. Why would I still buy this book right now? Well, I did just a couple months ago. I purchased this book. The reason why I would purchase it is because I'm trying to get anything Amazing Spider-Man. I'm trying to fill my run. I think I need like 30 more books to complete my ASM run, and many of those are early Silver Age ASM. They're all Silver Age. So that's why I would always buy this book. But because, look, this book is up for two reasons. Now, if you look at a lot of the other early Silver Age books, even if they're not like keys, they're up on the market. They are up on the market for the most part. Why? Again, I talked about the Fantastic Four Silver Age keys just being those legacy run keys. Amazing Spider-Man is that legacy run of Marvel, hands down. I just don't see these books really taking a hit. They're in that much demand. Like, I've talked about this before recently. I remember, not a key like this, but I remember when you can get Silver Age Spider-Man issues from anywhere from like the 30s, again, that aren't keys, from the 30s to the 80s. You can get a nice mid-grade copy of those books easily for $20. For $20, a few years ago to 5-6 years ago. Now, good luck getting a mid-grade copy of those books for under $50. That's how well these books have been doing. Now, when you take into a key like this, it changes the playing field as well. Now, here's another reason why this book is still up 56%, though. Matt Murdock's return to the MCU, first showing up in 2021, at the end of 2021, in No Way Home. And then, of course, him showing up in Daredevil, in Daredevil, in She-Hulk. A lot of people that didn't really like the She-Hulk show say, well, man, at least we got Daredevil. Like, and what do we think is going to come from that? Well, we want to see Spidey and, Charlie Cox. We want to see Tom Holland, Spidey, and Charlie Cox's Daredevil team up. And boy, would we love to see them team up against Kingpin. Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin. And guess what, folks? I think it can happen, and I think it's going to happen. We already have hints that the next Spider-Man trilogy is going to be more darker, and I believe that means it's going to be street level, more mature, more darker. I think we could see villains like Kingpin or Tombstone or the Rose. Absolutely. So fingers crossed for that, and that could definitely keep this book propelling. But like I said, these ASM Silver Age books, especially the keys, I don't see them really trending down even in the market that we're at or in right now. So, all right, folks, we got one more book today. But before we get into the last book, I want to remind everyone, if you are in need of comic book supplies, check out bcwsupplies.com. You can use the discount code journals to receive 10% off of your order. That link is in the description below, folks. And like I said, I don't partner up with any brand that I do not vouch for. And BCW is another one. I stand by BCW's products. Like 85-90% of my products that I use is BCW. I don't just use BCW, and I'm very transparent with saying that. But folks, poly bags all day, every day, I'm using BCW. Boxes all day, every day, BCW's. The store folios, they got so much good stuff. So check out their website, save 10%. That code never expires as well, folks. You can use it as many times as you want. So let's get in to this last book on the list today. And this is Fantastic Four 49. So another Silver Age, blue chip key. I really could have put 48 or 49 up here, but I put 49 for a specific reason. Now, I own this book. I bought this book a good 3+ years ago, but it is. If I didn't have it right now, I would still be in the market for it. Let's go over the numbers, and then we'll talk about why. All right, of course, this is the first full appearance of Galactus and second appearance of Silver Surfer. It's the first cover appearance of both of those characters, though. The first time we see Galactus and Silver Surfer in all their glory on the cover of a comic book. Keep a little, asterisk on that notation, and we're going to come back to that in a minute. Current CGC 7.0 fair market value sitting at $2,303. Next to 1 year ago, yeah, that's right, $3,506. It's down 34%. Again, that COVID boom, baby. Oh my goodness. 2 years ago, it was sitting at 1,045. So, folks, right now with that 2,300, it's still 120% above where it was at 2 years ago. Now, we had a record high of 4,800 back in May of 2021. Another huge outlier. Remember, the rolling fair market value back then was 3,500. 4,800 was insane. Again, who knows? White pages, who knows? Somebody having too much to drink and then going and bidding on eBay or Heritage, who knows? Last sale for this book was $2,500, and that was just in October, which is a little above the current fair market value. Current average raw sitting at $597 next to 2 years ago, sitting right under $300 at $298. That's basically a 100% increase. It's still doubled in value, roughly. So, here's why I would buy this book. I mean, first off, it's down. It's down from where it was at a year ago, a good chunk, 34%. But look, over the last couple of years, I've been buying everything Silver Surfer. I got every single Silver Surfer appearance in Fantastic Four titles. Almost, actually. I think I still need the one where Doom, there's a 3-part, and I need 2 of them, actually. I only have one where Doom takes Silver Surfer's powers. Anybody selling those books, hit me up. But I've been going after everything. I've been going after some of his Volume 1 run. I don't have, like, the early issues, the big keys, 1, 3, and 4. But so much Silver Surfer and Galactus. I've been going after all the origin of Galactus and the Thor title. So I just think, for one, these characters are legacy characters. I mean, when you think about Cosmic Marvel, the greatest cosmic hero with the greatest cosmic villain, in my humble opinion, Silver Surfer and Galactus. These characters are going to stand the test of time, and their comic books are going to be ones that continue to increase in value long term. Now, I know we can look at the MCU and there's a lot of naysayers about phase 4 and this and that. I'm not even going to get too much into that. Say what you want. Say what you want about the MCU after Endgame is garbage, all this, but look, I get it. Like Cap and Iron Man were like my favorite part of the MCU. Okay? It's sad to see them go. But we have so many characters, including the X-Men still, that need to show up. And I am not more excited than seeing Silver Surfer and Galactus. With this book being down, if I did not own this book, I still would own this book. Even if, again, short term, ebb and flow, and it may be a little bit more volatile. But this book in 5 to 10 years on its own, I think is going to continue to go back up as a blue chip key. But if we get any hint of either of these characters in the MCU, these books are going to go absolutely nut. Mark my words. Like, what is this selling for right now? We got a 7.0, rough average fair market value, 2,300. Let's see, it hit a 3,500, 3,500 during the COVID boom. If we get any type of announcement for Galactus or Silver Surfer, I see this book immediately hitting 5K into 7.0. So guys, come back to this video when that happens and that book starts going off. Come back to this video and let me see how either far off or on point I was. So that's how I feel about these characters. Again, I could have put 48 on here, but I put 49 on because while I don't think 49 will ever surpass 48, I do think it's an understatement to ignore the fact that this is their first cover appearance together. And I think that's why this book, I think the margin of value, like if, I don't have the numbers off the top of my head. If 48 was always like, 100%, twice as much as 49, I think that percentage is going to close. Where Fantastic Four in a couple years, 48, might be only worth 40% more, roughly, than 49, just as a hypothetical. I don't think it'll ever be worth as much as 48, though. Absolutely not. I mean, those are technically the overall first appearances, even though Galactus is cameo. So, again, but these characters, just the future is absolutely bright, whether it just be what we value with them in the comics or their announcement in the MCU. And I had to put this book on this list. If I did not own it, I would absolutely be trying to go after this book right here. And quite honestly, folks, if I wasn't on such a budget, I'd be going after trying to like get a couple copies just to have to maybe, sell and flip when an announcement comes. So there it is. These are 5 books that I would buy right now still, even in this market today. But folks, before we go, a few things. I got some thanks to give out to some people. I also want to hear all of your guys' thoughts in the comments below. Let me know what you thought of my picks. If you guys recently picked up these books, if you guys are in the market for these books, or if you thought there were any other books that you would have liked to see on this list today as well. And folks, again, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please take some time to do so. But I do got to take a minute here to give a shout out to all of my channel members, starting off with my Patreon channel members. If you guys are interested in joining Patreon, that link is below. It's only $3.99 per month to get extra perks and support the channel. So big, huge shout out to Paul, Matt, John, Nexus Cowboy, Combo Book Museum, Verified, Randall Tex, Justin, Jordan, X11 Bravo, Shelby, Rich, Tony, Larry, Michael, Alvin, Fletch Comics, Pedro, Peter, Sagi, Dan, and Simon. You guys are absolutely amazing. And be on the lookout for the end of year Patreon giveaway. And I believe it was, oh man, who won? Was it Alvin? Don't quote me, but Patrons, if you're watching this, and I think it was you, Alvin, go to the Patreon page and claim your prize because you won the October prize and nobody's claimed it yet. Hit me up. But again, I got to give a shout out to all of my YouTube channel members. That's only $1.99 a month. You guys want to click that join button below. You get extra perks as well. And another one, Jimmy G, you won the October YouTube member giveaway. So hit me up if you are watching this. Get me your address. I can send you your prizes. Big shout out to Mike Hags, Jimmy G, Mr. Spider Do, Louie Logics, DJ Moonchild, Frisbee, That Mountain Air, Keith Playing Cover Tunes, JD Ingram, Sean Ryan, Paul Enos, Shadow Rat, Remy Q, The Car Bay, C. Axe, Christopher Johnson, Jack B, Goonish Looker, Brandon H, Nexus Cowboy, Lisa, Josh, Ariel Red, Matt Labno, Battle Delta, Comic Journey, X11, E-Dub, Mick, Arthur, Simon, Comic Ozzy, Kaya B, Ghost Junk Primetime Treasure, Rupert, Tony, and Chris. You guys are amazing. Thank you all so much. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Be well, and until next time.